right, so we are moving over to our next company, Astron Energy. We are very excited to have them with us. It's not the first time, but it is the first time that we will have Alison with us. And maybe a lot of you here haven't been part of an Astron session. It is super insightful and exciting to participate in and be part of. Sorry, tongue twister there. So I'm happy to introduce Alison to you. Alison, welcome. If you don't mind just unmuting yourself and quickly introducing yourself. Thank you for being here.
Hi, morning. How are you doing? I hope everybody is awake.
Yes, but frozen.
I've had 3 coffees. I'm good.
That's a good way to start.
Yes,
just decide you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wonderful.
All right.
So, Alison,
do you want to share my presentation? Sorry, it came through late. I had changes that I wanted to make.
It's not a problem. If it's easier, if you prefer, you're welcome to share your
side. That would be great.
Yeah.
No, it would be great if you could share. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Let me do that for you. I've got it ready on my side anyway. Sorry, my screen has gone a bit wonky. Share. Can you see my screen?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, wonderful.
Alrighty.
There we go. Thank you so much, Alison. I'll give it over to you for you to take over, but you're welcome to start with just introducing yourself, and then you can go into the presentation, and when you're ready for Q&A, we'll start that process.
Okay, good shot. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Alison Geduld. I work on the procurement team, but I fulfill a procurement advisory role, which looks after enterprise and supplier development within the procurement space. So I make sure that our QSEs and EMEs are included into sourcing events where appropriate. So our procurement team sits at the beginning or towards the end of the previous year, and we look at the initiatives on the plan according to business needs for the year. They draw up the plan, and then we engage in terms of the complexity of each of those initiatives. We ring-fence certain items for EME and QSEs so that we can integrate them. We look at opportunities for those new suppliers to get their feet wet and to build their capability and capacity. And our main goal is to scale companies to the point that they are genetic and can stand on their own with a pipeline of suppliers, customers that they can sustain their business over time. Now, my Cabello and Danielle have spoken about the procurement space, how they look at suppliers, how they integrate suppliers, how they choose them. And I'm going to be speaking to you specifically this morning about the funding opportunities that Astron Energy has, specifically the Astron Energy Development Fund. We launched it in December 2022. It has grown slowly as we haven't gone out to market to explain what the difference between Astron Energy Supplier and Enterprise and Supplier Development funding and the difference between the two. So this morning I want to be clear on that is the mandate I'm going to lay out to you today. The funding window is currently open. Enterprise and Supply Development funding closes tomorrow. So if you want to get in there, I need you to log into our portal, register, and get your applications in. I will share all the information with Paulina so that she can send it out to you guys. But without further ado, can we go to the next slide, please, Paulina? Okay. So as you would know, economic development there are two stages to it, right? So the growing emerging business, and then of course you need small business support. So in terms of growing emerging is a company that's been established, that has all its compliance in place and has now started trading, right? So we're looking at between 2 to 5 years, and that kind of company is the one who will need funding for expansion, resources, maybe some cash flow management kind of thing. And then small business support, which is it's more business development support. How do you grow your business? Do you need more technical capability, more qualifications? So in the Astron world, you can imagine it is a highly regulated space because of safety. Safety is our number one concern for both our own people and our plant and our suppliers who come onto our plant. The minute you are there, you are in our care. We make very sure that the health and safety requirements are met. Some of you may know that we had an accident at the refinery not long ago. We've now restarted. It was a very traumatic experience for all involved. And we don't want to have that kind of situation ever happen again. So Dan, our refinery GM, is pedantic about how we do business. That said, so the Astron Energy Development Fund supports new and existing local businesses in the fuel and lubricants value chain. I heard Cabello and Danielle reiterate the same point, and I was like, that is key. You need to understand the value chain and match it of the company that you want to integrate into, and match your services to what they will require. However, that said, if you produce or sell a certain item, it can be bought at Pick and Pay. And your idea is that you can somehow tailor make your service offering to also apply to a secondary supplier. And so you mimic what you have to match another need. That is not the way to go. I would beg you to hone your craft, become a specialist in what you do. Credibility is key. So when you get your foot in the door, you need to make sure that your foundation, the relationship that you have with this new client, is rock solid before you try and diversify into another area. To be a jack of all trades and a master of none is not the way you want to go. If you want to build a sustainable business, you can make diversification moves at like year 7. Between 1 and 5, but foundation is key. That's where you want to go, right? So obviously we look at Black-owned businesses in the refinery byproducts, so LPG, bitumen, and then of course the retail sectors of the liquid fuel value chain. Now we have a very rigorous application process for prospective retailers who want to join our network. There's an application process, and that is also detailed on the Astron Energy website. Am I going to be answering questions in between, or shall I answer all of the questions at the end?
Alison, it's up to you, but generally we go through all the information first and then have a Q&A session at the end.
Okay. Ben, is your question a burning one?
Well, I don't know if it's a burning one, but I'm just curious.
Okay, so can I go to the end and then answer your question?
No problem.
Okay, great. All right. So hold on to that. I'll be back. Okay. So the retail space works slightly differently to the procurement space for the rest of the company, where they have their own application process. However, if you were interested, you could phone our help desk and they would route you through to the right people. Okay. So priority is given to previously disadvantaged groups. However, the Astron Energy Development Fund looks at all SMMEs. So preference is given to previously disadvantaged, but they don't exclude you if you are not. So the Enterprise and Supply Development funding, which falls under procurement and transformation and procurement, that is strictly 0% interest and aimed at suppliers who are previously disadvantaged and more than 51% Black owned. Black currently being defined, colored, Indian, Chinese, the full spectrum of disadvantaged. Okay. Paulina, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is Astron Energy's value chain. When you consider whether you want to do business with Astron, I need you not to just focus on the top line. If you look at it, it goes, so that's concentrated on our main line of product, which is fuels. So everything from what happens in the raw materials and finished product sourcing, all the way to the retail service network and everything in between. What I do unfortunately have to tell you is that in terms of transporters, haulers, we are fully subscribed at the moment. We have just middle of last year closed the loop on our haulers for the next, they've got the contract for the next 3 years. So if you are a distribution company, if you are a hauler, I'm happy to take your details, have a conversation with you. But in terms of procurement and in terms of funding, unfortunately, that door is going to be slightly closed for a little period. So if you want to be considered for funding and you are a hauler, I would say contact me at the end of 2025, and then I might be able to help you. Okay, so everything else that goes into that chain is open for opportunities. Then we look at our lubricants. Our lubricants plant is in Durban, and that's all the services that would be included in that process. I must tell you that I am on the lookout for packaging for lubricants. So that unfortunately is a rather highly technical spec item. Labels for those lubricant bottles. And then there are storage as well in that chain. And then, of course, all the enabling services that help us put all of this together to make it work. So HR services, recruitment, training, I saw Ms. Duffy, we have met, health and safety, both trainers, moderators, training facilitators, and in construction services, that would be the full Monty as well, whether you are a trainer or you actually have a construction company. I'm looking for draftsmen of color, architects of color, and in environmental services, that would be everything from anybody who does soil remediation. I'm also looking for you. Electrical PPE is always, it comes up now and then. We do have a couple of contracted suppliers, but sometimes there's a need in some other place that is difficult for them to get to. Legal and finance is, we do all our finance, obviously, and legal in-house, but we do have contracted third parties. Measurement, that would be like quantity surveyors and things like that. And then, of course, office services, we do have contracted people, but it's a cutthroat business. And obviously, if you have something to offer, we'd like to hear from you. Consultants, we do have a number of consultants, but those are also project-based. Alrighty. And then, of course, the fuel station support services, that's like pump calibration. We do have, obviously, we have Fresh Stop, as you guys would know, on our, as a partner. We've renewed for another 10 years. So the situation with fuel station support services, each fuel station, each retailer has the right to manage whichever suppliers they want to deal with. The contents of the Fresh Stop is handled between the retailer and the Fresh Stop convenience management team. So if you have an offering that you want to put into somebody's Fresh Stop, you need to go and speak to that particular retailer. Head office does not dictate what goes into those convenience stores. Okay, Paul, you can, yeah, next one. Okay, so as I said, I'm speaking to you about the Astron Energy Development Fund. Astron Energy Development Fund is a separate legal entity to Astron Energy. It was part of our key stakeholder, shareholder, Glencore's intention that we have two branches of funding. One being for the mandated, previously disadvantaged, and then another one to help everybody. So the mandate between the two differentiates solely on the percentage of previously disadvantaged people. Obviously, Astron Energy Development Fund supports previously disadvantaged people, but we didn't want to exclude anybody. Okay, so it supports sustainable local SME businesses, looking at expanding local procurement and supporting inclusive economic growth and employment. So how do we do this? Next slide, please, Paulina. Okay, so to establish any new suppliers outside of enterprise development. So if you are not a supplier to Astron Energy, you are therefore deemed an enterprise, right? You can knock on the Astron Energy Development Fund's door for funding or support if you are not, if you don't fall into that ED bucket. They have looked at and empowered a number of large, not contracts, projects in terms of transport. And it's been a community-based transport idea that we took to the community, and they said they would love it. And they've built that project. It's coming to fruition shortly. So then you'll be seeing it on LinkedIn and everywhere else. And then we try and develop existing suppliers as well, who have maybe graduated outside of the realm of 51% Black owned. And then we obviously support SMEs that are more than 51% Black owned. Next slide, Paulina. Okay, so how do we do this? Do it through supporting businesses, funding them, and then, of course, we also work with the community. We've done lots of work with Ort SA in terms of providing digital skills, offering digital skills to young people. We've worked with startup companies to help them understand compliance, SIPSI, SARS, the business plan, how to do it, doing cash flow, those kinds of things. And then we have also worked with Gold Youth. We looked at unemployed Black youth to find them opportunities, to get them upskilled and then get absorbed into companies by internships, learnerships, that kind of thing, to give them more experience and to make them more marketable for themselves. Okay. And then, of course, the growing emerging business is a provision for preferential rates for development loans. The Astron Energy Development Funding loan is at -2%. So we look at new and existing local businesses, and then, of course, the LPG and bitumen and retail sectors. We have helped a number of retailers who are keen to expand their retail offering, in terms of if they've just been a fuel service station and they want to add on a Fresh Stop and a Seattle coffee, and the volumes are good, we have supported them in funding an expansion for their properties. So accessing all of this is both so for funding, for procurement opportunities, and for the Astron Energy Development Fund, cash funding and business development support, so non-financial support, can be accessed through our portal. This is the QR code at the bottom. We'll provide that, as well as okay, I will get to you now. And so I'll give the link and the QR code at the end. Next slide. Okay, that is me. Let me answer all those questions.
Thank you so much, Alison. It's so exciting to hear the opportunities that Astron is making available to the community. I think it's amazing, and it's the first that we're hearing of it. So it's quite exciting to have this opportunity to learn this with the audience. So I wanted to ask you, Alison. I know that Ben and then you spoke about MPO in the chats. So we where would you like to start?
So Ben's been holding on to that question for a long time now. Ben, okay. Give it to me. Speak.
Okay, no problem. So I happen to see on your presentation, Ms. Godal, that you also work with bitumen. So I recently learned that bitumen is that material which they use to, make the road. I think it works together with the tar. And I know that a lot of transport companies basically move that from point A to point B. So I just wanted to take advantage of that opportunity. But that was before you mentioned that you started a new relationship with the current service provider and that you'll be working with them for 3 years. So I also just wanted to find out, is there room for subcontracting?
Ben, the door is never closed to any opportunity. So you're going to have my email address. We will share it with you, and then you can pop me your email and I'll see what I can do for you. That's no promise. That is, I will see what I can do.
I will just keep my fingers crossed.
I live in a life of opportunity and hope. So anything can happen, Ben.
Thank you.
It's exciting. Okay, we got 2 raised hands, but I also want to go through the chats. So maybe let's quickly start with the chats, because those could be quick. So Nesh is asking, what is the vendor onboarding process? So does the Astron online link still apply for the onboarding process?
Yes.
Okay, so we will see that in the email.
Okay, so when you say onboarding, there's two different things here. So the portal is the gateway. So you register all your details on it. I take a look at everything. If there's an opportunity, then we could look at onboarding you. The onboarding is a process that happens if there is definite work for you. I know most people allow you to register and then you land up with a vendor number immediately. However, we don't work that way. We first see if there is opportunity. We don't want to give anybody false hope. So it's a case of register. Let me see whether you fit into what we've got. Yes, I can help you. Right now, I can't. A number of our suppliers who have registered have gone through the vetting and the due diligence process and have not received work. They have not received work because there are no opportunities for the services they provide currently. I know that many people have said to me, yeah, but you know, this one and that one has gotten work and they shouldn't have gotten the work because we closer kind of thing. There's a number of variables that come into play. And a lot of that is about capability and the opportunity to integrate a smaller player. And that's about the complexity. So if something is highly technical and you need skilled operators who have experience in big projects, high risk, that kind of thing, that is what they are going to opt for, not because they don't want to give you a chance. We obviously look at those things and we say, okay, but can we subcontract bits of the work to a new player so that they can have training wheels and start to learn how things work? That is the ultimate for us, because then we're growing somebody with skill, experience, and they can say, but I have worked here, I have worked there, this is what I've done. And then you build that firm foundation I spoke about earlier so that you can be trusted. They know you, they know that you know the standard we expect at the refinery, you know how everything works.
Okay. No, thank you so much. That's quite insightful. We will still share that registration link, but if anybody was in those categories that you mentioned that you're looking for suppliers, are we able to share your email address for them to reach out to them, or do you prefer the generic? Yes. Okay, perfect.
They can email me. I will ask them to register. They just need to know that, but it would be flagged with me that I need to go and check that everything is in place. Obviously, if they get stuck, there's a contact us button. It does come to me. If for some reason you don't get a response, send me an email and say, listen, this is the problem. I'm happy to jump on a Teams call and help somebody out.
Ah, thank you so much, Alison. That means quite a lot to know that there's someone that's willing to spend time. I appreciate that. Okay, so there's hands raised. So we'll start with Pumelela. Do you mind unmuting yourself, Pumelela, and just asking your question?
Thank you, Paulina. Thank you, Alison, for your presentation. Really appreciate it. My question, and it relates actually, your competition recently did this. Engine recently, so I'm from a company called Natal Raise and Why. We specialize in fencing. And I know Engine recently had a project that they did about 4 to 5 years ago, where they were fencing all of their service stations on the retail side. And I wanted to find out, in terms of, well, proposing something like that, because I'm not too sure, obviously, what's the future plans for Astron Energy Group. I know you guys have just recently done the rebranding. In terms of, because fencing is obviously not something that you do every month. In terms of something like that, and whether there would be an onboarding opportunity, or is there an opportunity to somehow present something like that in terms of the advantages of how it would assist the business itself in fencing the forecourts and etc.?
I assume you mean fencing in terms of safety.
Like that. Yes, in terms of safety. So you'll notice most engine garages have fencing around them, but other garages actually don't, like your BP and and all these other brands don't actually have. Only Engine typically has like your Clearview fencing around it. So I was just
Yes.
interested to find out if Astron Energy has any potential, or it's something that
To
they've
be
looked
very
at.
honest, no. It's, to my mind, not aesthetically pleasing. I understand that it might be a requirement for some of, Engine must have thought there was a business reason for that. We at this point don't have a reason to do that. I like
Okay, no,
seeing my
thank you very
orange
much.
and purple without the.
We can actually make an orange fence for you, but we'll leave that for
Oh,
another
okay,
day.
no. Do you know? Do you know the consternation when people saw the purple and orange for the first time? They went like, "Why is it so bright?" And like, I love purple and orange, right? I'll wear purple and orange tackies, please, right? So I have no issue, but the more conservative didn't like it.
All right, no, thank you for that. Thanks, Alison.
Thanks.
Okay, Alison, there was a question from Mpo in the chat, talking
Yes.
about struggling to register on the vendor portal, and it gave a sort of an error. It said sold to account number. Just wanting to understand what that means. Is that something you want to address here, or is that a conversation perhaps you want to take offline with Mpo?
I would like to support Mpo, and it's probably best that I get the email address and I make contact. If anybody else has had a similar experience, please reach out to me. I can jump on a Teams call with you and we can problem solve together. I just
Okay.
find that that's an easier thing to do.
No problem. We create a template with all the attendees, and any questions that's posed during the session, we put next to their names, which has their contact information as well. So you will be able to easily identify that and reach out.
Sure. Cool.
Okay, you got another hand raised. Bernadette Duddy, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself?
Hi, Bernadette.
Thank you. Hello, Alison. Thank you so much. I do want to say, and I want to encourage all the other people on the group that, you know what, it's worthwhile going to register. Yes, it is a lengthy process. You do need to have all your documentation in a row. But I must say the support team at Astron, they were phenomenal. Alicia, you know, the moment I sent that query, Alicia would come back and I'd be able to move on to the next level. So yes, it did take me more than 3 weeks to complete the process. So thank you, Alison, for that. But my question is, once we completed the documentation for the due diligence, you know, what kind of is the next step from that? And whether we've been, you know, passed on the due diligence, do we get a notification to say, okay, guys, you know, we've done your due diligence and we're happy with the information?
So what happens is I get all the information, I collate it, it gets put into a folder. At the moment, funding applications are taking precedence until probably the end of next week. After next week, I'll be setting up Teams meetings to meet with everybody who has given me a full pack of due diligence documents. So I need you just to hang fire. I will be with you probably in the next 2 weeks. We can sit down and chat. There's a few items that you guys provide that I want to chat to you about. And unfortunately, my dear darling Alicia has left me, so it's just me again.
No. Oh no. But I do want to encourage the other SMMEs on the group.
Yes.
Don't be put off by the long process. And also just going to help you to get all your documentation and your house in order so that you've got everything for the next bout of registrations. But thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate this.
Thanks, Bernadette.
Thank you. Alison, I know we're actually 5 minutes over at this point. I wanted to ask you, do you want to answer some more questions? What is your hard stop time?
I can go on until everybody's happy. Don't worry. I'm free for another hour.
Okay, hopefully you won't be here that long, but thank you.
Oh God, don't tell my boss.
I won't say anything. All right, so let's Irfan, do you want to your hand is raised. Do you mind just unmuting yourself quickly?
Good morning and thank you. Good morning, Alison.
Hi, Irfan.
Yes, Irfan Minto, founder of fintech company. We specialize in comprehensive fintech solutions designed to optimize financial operations across industries. We're also targeting the energy sector. As you said, it's designed to optimize financial operations across industries. So our offerings include streamlined payroll management, efficient payment and collection solutions for suppliers, as well as innovative loyalty programs. Moreover, we also facilitate seamless payments for motorists at garages, ensuring convenience and reliability. And I believe our expertise can significantly enhance your financial processes while in improving your customer satisfaction and operational efficiency by using fintech solutions. I would love to know and understand or discuss how we can tailor our solutions maybe and apply to be a service provider for your company. Thank you.
Thanks, Irfan. That looks and sounds like a separate meeting. I need to unpack, first of all, what your departure point is, if there's an API, how it would integrate with head office systems, our current framework. So if you don't mind, I am going to ask that you give me maybe a week so that I can get all your details back, and then we can set up a meeting and you and I can chat about opportunities.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Alison. I'd really appreciate it. I'm sure that will you get in contact with me, or should I get in contact with you first? Because I can give you the email address if you need any.
I'll get the email address from Paulina.
Paulina will be able to provide you with my email address then. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
And then I'll
Bye-bye.
reach out. Thanks.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, Vincent Mtembu, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself? Vincent, we can't hear you. It shows you're still muted.
Morning, everyone.
There we go. Good
Hi,
morning.
Vincent.
I've got just two questions for Astron. Do you guys perhaps have a cleaning jobs for cleaning companies, and also the security jobs for guarding your premises?
Okay, Vincent. So yes, we do have cleaners, and yes, we do have security companies. If you mean at particular retailers, like I said earlier, each retail station will maintain their own relationships and appoint their own cleaners and security people. If you mean at the refinery or at head office, we do have contracted staff at the moment, but it would depend. How big is your company?
It's not as big. It's just an SMME company that I'm talking about.
Okay, and are you based in Gauteng or Cape Town?
Yes, I'm based in Gauteng.
Gauteng, okay. All right. I would encourage you to register on the portal. However, if you have a small staff complement, I would say approach the retail owners directly. It would be easier for you to get a contract with specific retail stations than to try and become a service provider to the corporate Astron. You probably have more success that way.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, Oscar Ricozzo, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself and asking your question?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Oscar.
Yes, I just have one question. I'll start by saying I have a petroleum license, which initially when I registered for this petroleum license, I was aiming at like opening like a petroleum plant. So by the time when I registered, like the following year, it's when like we were hit by COVID-19. So things couldn't work. I tried even like applying for petroleum franchise and all that, but like I got stuck. I couldn't even move forward. So I just wanted to find out from you, what can you offer maybe for someone who's having like a petroleum license?
Okay, so Oscar, when you say petroleum license, do you mean to wholesale or to run a retail petrol station?
It's a wholesale one.
Wholesale. Okay. All righty. And at this point, do you have any kind of capital that you could put into it?
Not at all. I tried like applying for funding, but like I couldn't get one.
Okay. All right. Oscar, I'm going to reach out to you once I've got all the contact details, and I'm going to put you in touch with our retail selection people, and they'll be able to guide you on how best to navigate that.
Oh, thanks a million.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Thank you. So we'll move over to Tumelo. Do you mind quickly unmuting yourself, Tumelo, and asking your question?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Alison.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for the presentation, and thank you for your extra time. Not to take more time. Because of the difficulty of the portal, I just thought maybe take us through it. And how well, what is required by it in terms of the documentation or compliance-wise, but where could be our difficulties? I'm sure now you know people having challenges. Where are the challenges? I'm just thinking most of the time, because it's our door, becomes very difficult to get to the door, and you find challenges. Maybe just prepare us a few times. This is what we require. You might have challenges here, and encourage us more.
Okay, listen. You ask all the right questions, right? So, in terms of compliance, you need to have a subsidiary registered company, right? So you need to have a registration number. Then you need to be SARS registered. You need to have your BEE certificate. Yes. And then you need to have all the information. You need to know it, like shareholders. You have a shareholder agreement. The basic things are always a challenge for people who are starting out, right? I had a meeting yesterday where we're trying to formulate a training program for basic compliance and fiduciary skills, sort of running a business for dummies 101 kind of thing, basic, so that it's those things that people don't have in place or don't know that they need to have in place in order to run a business. Now, many people run businesses without all of that, right? But if you want to compete in a professional commercial environment, such as Astron, such as Afrimat, Pick and Pay, all of that, you have to have those building blocks in place. So I'm happy to send the email with all the basic criteria. I'm happy to set up meetings with all of you to take you through what what is required. I'm also happy to take a show of hands in terms of set up a workshop and this is how you do it kind of thing. It's up to Paulina to decide how much access I have to you.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. No, it does. In fact, it makes it easy.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, right, if you have all the documentation you need, it will
Yes.
take you 20 minutes, 20
No,
minutes to finish the whole registration process.
Yeah, my company supplies, we manufacture PPE. So I just heard you when you were talking about the retailers, and I'm thinking my approach would be either to go to the retailers or to the corporate. But I wanted to understand that because I missed part of your presentation, whether the retailers themselves, do they get their own PPE or is it contract based whereby it's run by a corporate and you supply all your retailers? What happens on PPE? Or is it as
so
and
two
when?
things.
Yes.
Two things. PPE in terms of like the yellow jacket thingies or what the customer service agents wear, the jumpsuits.
All
Which
of
one?
them, everything.
Okay, so the CSAs, the customer service agents, they have to wear the uniform. The uniform is a prescribed design. There is one company that provides it currently. We are looking to split up that initiative, but we need to be very careful because it's about quality. It's about making sure that they have the right fire retardant fabric, all of those kind of things, right? So
Correct.
so the CSAs at the moment, that is a one supplier. PPE can be many suppliers, right? So that you could get your foot in the door as long as your product meets the safety requirements.
Agreed.
Okay. So there's a standard health and safety requirement document, and everybody who makes PPE should have that, and that's how it gets made. So when you say manufacture, do you actually make them or do you buy it in and sell it?
Others we make, and then others we buy and sell. Like your overalls, we make those. Your work things we make, but others we buy and sell.
Okay, all right. And how big is your company? How many people do you have on your staff?
SME, not a lot, still growing, but definitely growing. We can look at about 8 people.
Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, we've got other relationships. So capacity is not an issue. We have managed to have other relationships with other companies. So we're able to deliver as required.
Okay. All right. To me, I think let's get you registered. Let's have a chat. And then we can take it from there. Let's look at what we can do.
Okay.
All righty. I look forward to chatting to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Alison, we've got Edwin in the audience. Now, Edwin is unfortunately ill, so he's not able to raise his hand. But he says he's from a company, Brand Ace, and they supply the full spectrum of branding, including printed labels, and they want to take advantage of the opportunity. So is there anything that you can share with him? I assume the registration process or the vendor registration is one element. But then also for that, is there an opportunity for his business?
Okay, so registration first, and then are we going to share my email address as well?
I'll put it in the email with the registration link.
Edwin, if you can email me a brochure on what kind of work you guys do, that would help me. Also, where is he based?
Edwin, which area are you? Can you quickly type? Johannesburg.
Joburg, okay. All right. Possibility. I just need to see exactly what kind of labels you produce. Yeah.
Cool. No
And then we
problem.
can have a chat. I'll set up a meeting and we can have a definite chat.
Thank you so much. Okay, so next one in the line is Wendy. Wendy,
Hi,
do you
Wendy.
mind unmuting quickly, Wendy?
Good morning, ladies. Thank you, Paulina,
Wendy.
for always. Yes, thank you, Paulina, for always giving us these opportunities. Definitely, you will be very proud. Soon we will be rolling with the mullahs.
That's the hope.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, Alison, I just wanted to say thank you for the presentation. I'm in the food manufacturing space, especially in the snacks. I offer alternative snacks products. So I wanted to know on your side, from the presentation, I did not see where you were mentioning anything about supplies of snacks and all those things. So I wanted to know who can I speak to within that space, because I would like to be supplying Astron on the snacks. My plant is based in Pretoria, and also I've got a place in Cape Town as well. So I just wanted to know if maybe we can refer me to, or how best can I be part of the value chain. I also do other things. I've got other companies, but I would like to specifically for the snacks industry and food manufacturing. Yeah.
Okay. So Wendy, I mentioned earlier that our retail network, each one of the retailers, they manage whatever goes into their C-store. So my best advice is for you to contact retail network owners separately, and then ask them, provide your proposal and see what they say. Unfortunately, what goes into each one's C-store is up to them. It's not dictated by head office.
Okay, thank you so much. I also want to know, I'm also accredited for food and beverages packaging operations. Will that also need the retailers as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself and asking your question?
Hi, Alison. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it a lot. We are in the services industry. We basically are doing engineering, infrastructure, and MRO. I heard earlier you spoke about environmental remediation is in the areas what we do. And basically what we've been in business for about 9 years now, and we have a complement of well-trained staff members, engineers included, safety and quality members, draftsmen. We would like to have an opportunity. We tried to register on your system, I think when you were just beginning, and we failed. I think the system was under construction at that time. We never had a chance to do
Name
that.
of the company, Jeffrey?
Sakiva. The company Sakiva, S-A-K-I-V-A.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. You say remediation. Did you say soil remediation?
Yes. We have geologists on our side and environmentalists.
Okay. Then I guess we got to get you registered again.
Yes, would love that. We really love that.
Okay.
So, I've been waiting for the opportunity to have this meeting, so I was looking forward to this actually, because we tried and it was under COVID anyway those times, so difficulties, maybe that's why we couldn't.
Possibly. Our portal has been revamped significantly since I started. Yeah, it was not the most user-friendly or analytically friendly item. I've made significant changes to it. I'm not done, but it works better now. So maybe we should give it another shot.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, So I think we'll try to get maybe your email. I don't know how to.
Yes, Paulina will give it to you, but I will also be sending Paulina an email with the registration process, what needs to be done, and then you can just follow that process.
Okay,
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. There was only 3 hands and now there's 5 more. Okay. We don't want to be here till 12 o'clock today. Unfortunately, we have meetings coming up, so we're going to see how quick the next couple of questions go. But I think we're going to try and do a hard stop at 10:30. So if there are any remaining questions, they can be placed in the chat box, and we'll definitely share those questions with Alison following the session, and her responses we will share with you. So
Sorry,
let's start
Paulina.
with, yes.
Sorry, Paulina. May I be excused? I have another meeting that I have to jump to.
No problem, Irfan, you can go.
Thank you, Paulina. Thank you. Bye-bye, Alison.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. I also need to leave, but Alison, thank you, Gareth. It was awesome today. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Benedict.
you. Bye.
Okay, Vian, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself?
Good morning, ladies. How are you doing?
Great, and
Good,
you?
thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Like I explained, I stay in the Northern Cape region. So I just wanted to find out how far is your reach though? Because we also, like Oscar, we also have engineers. We're an electrical-based company that specializes in solar, utilities, green initiatives. We also have quite a vast range of services that we do offer our clients. But yeah, like I said, because we're in the Northern Cape region, the growth of the company isn't quite as productive as I would have envisioned when I started the company. But we have reach in Joburg and also in Cape Town with various subcontractors that we work with, and we work with big companies as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm not entirely sure how you guys can assist me or my company just to get our footprint a little bit bigger.
Yeah, Vian, I'm going to say that I need some time to chew on that one, but I am going to say I'd like to have a one-on-one meeting with you, and then we can spitball what you're currently doing, what you have done, and where we can find some gaps for you.
No, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say something, just by the way. What I'm offering you guys is not what they pay me for. Just FYI. Okay.
Thank you, Alison. It's very kind of you to offer your services. We really appreciate it.
It's my passion. As you can tell, it is my passion, and I want people to understand that business it's treacherous, it's difficult, but it's not as difficult as they say it is. Right?
I think it's more intimidating than anything else. The whole process sounds very intimidating.
That's what I want to like sort of business demystified people. Not everybody can do it, but if you have the passion, the drive, and the resilience to keep going and never say die, you can do this.
Agreed. Okay, we can take one last question. Malasela, do you mind quickly asking your question?
Yes, I wanted to know what kind of ICT services do you procure mostly?
What kind of?
ICT services do you procure?
Information
technology.
Must you ask me about the one thing that I really don't like talking about? Okay, so services. That's a difficult one because we have a number of IT initiatives that run, right? We work on SAP, Ariba. We have integrated systems that do analysis, that does quantity management. So there's a number of things that come up. However, in the ICT space, it's about which initiative we have appetite for at the time. I have had 4 initiatives in 3 years, and all of those 4 initiatives have rolled over to the next year, to the next year, to the next year. And this is why it's not my favorite topic, because I can never commit to, guys, listen, we're doing this year and it's going to happen and you guys are going to get the work this year. And then tomorrow they tell me, oh no, actually, maybe we'll do it next year. So I look like the person that can't commit when actually, I've got the wedding ring on my finger, I'm ready to roll, but the groom just walked away from the altar.
Okay, thanks a lot. We are here to deliver.
Does it help?
Yeah, it does help, but with us on board, I'm sure you'll deliver more soon and fast.
Okay, so what I want you to do for me, right? Register on the portal. Send me your brochure. Tell me what you do. Tell me what you have done. Tell me what's in the pipeline. And then I can go to the category manager and say, I have this amazing supplier. This is what they do. What do you have that I can fit them into?
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
My
Alison.
pleasure.
Thank you for taking your time to answer a multitude of questions. I believe you have informed our audience quite immensely, and the opportunities of what Afrimat, sorry, I'm in 2 different conversations in my head, that Astron has for the community. I really appreciate it, and it's given I'm sure it's lit a fire under quite a few people with excitement of opportunities to come. I have one question, and it's something that also baffles me, but someone in the audience has asked, is there an alternative to not having a COIDA certificate or a workman's comp certificate if they don't have any employees? If it's, let's say, a one-man show.
So it's a sole provider. Yes?
Correct.
No.
So you need one. Is there no alternative to it?
So I need to get to the bottom of that myself, right? It makes no sense. Some people say that if it's just you in the company, but you're drawing a salary, then you work for the company, right?
Okay.
So then you should be registered. But if you don't look at it that way, then you don't need one.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, no problem. But what I'll do is I'll make sure that in my list I share you is the details of the person asking, and you can maybe connect with them separately.
In fact, I have been asked that question a couple of times now, to the point that I'm going to make contact with the Department of Labor and ask them what's the deal.
True. No problem. Thank you. If there's as I mentioned, we are going to be sending a list to both Afrimat and Alison from Astron with the comments and the chats in the box, the chat box, so that everybody has an opportunity to reach out to relevant parties regarding the specific questions asked. So if there's any last questions, please also just now at this stage of the session mention if you want the question for Afrimat or Astron, because it is a bit difficult to identify. We kind of look at the time that the question is posed. But if there's something that you still want to ask Afrimat after the session, please make sure you state question is for Afrimat, and if it's for Astron or for Alison directly, then we'll do that so that we can give the correct information through. But Alison, I think, thank you. Is not enough to cover what you have assisted with us today and the information that you have shared. We truly appreciate the time and the passion that you share behind what you are doing. And it's amazing to see and hear from people with that amount of passion that shares that passion is what we do. And you have really supported our program immensely by just being here and added an immense amount of value. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, the bottom of Nyasha's heart. We really, really appreciate you being here and taking the time. We hope you have an amazing day and an amazing weekend, and we will chat to you in emails.
Brilliant. Guys, have a wonderful day. Go out and conquer.
Amazing. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a
Bye.
good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody that was here. Thank you to everybody taking the time to spend time with us and to learn more. It shows a lot about your commitment to your business and the energy that you have to grow your business and to try and reach new heights. We are here to assist you every step of the way. And if there's any questions about the session that you want to ask, you can reach out to me or to Nyasha privately, and we'll definitely help you. And we will get the recording and the follow-up email, if not this afternoon, then tomorrow. We just want to make sure it's comprehensive and has all your questions answered. Have an amazing day, and we look forward to seeing you guys in July again at our next online session. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Paulina.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Before you go,
Sure.
it's Oscar here.
Yes,
Don't forget to share with me Alison's details or maybe an email address so that I can
will.
be able to communicate with her, please.
I will do, Oscar. So we're going to send an email to everybody that has all of that information on it. So don't worry, you will definitely
Please forward to me as well, eh?
Oh,
everybody
okay.
that's
Thank you.
registered for the session, we use that as a base point of communication, and then everybody that was invited also gets a copy of it. So we make
Thank
sure
you.
that
Appreciate
everybody
you.
receives.
Oh, okay. Thanks a
Thank you.
million.
Appreciate you.
Have a wonderful day.
Same to you.
You too.
Bye-bye.